welcome to Tech Tuesday, presented by Delta Media Group, where we firmly believe that the movie The Rock was actually the final movie in the Sean Connery series of James Bond films. Don't believe me? I'm telling you. Just check it out. Check it out. Look into it. You'll be surprised. So, today for Tech Tuesday, we're going to take a look at the custom form functionality. Now, I'm gonna break the rules a little bit on this one, as typically we don't look at the admin side of the DeltaNet at all for Tech Tuesdays. We've always focused on agent features and the agent functionality, but I'm going to do this one as a little bit of a crossover because the custom form functionality itself, or the forms themselves, are actually built out on the admin side. So we're going to run over there and build out a form and then go in and use it on the agent websites, and you can see how all that is done. So first off, I'm going to switch over to the admin side, so this will be a treat for any of the admins watching this video. If I scroll down here to Preferences, there's an option for Forms, and this will allow me to actually build out my custom forms. So you can see we have quite a few in here already, and I can use this Actions button to either preview the form, view any responses to that form, delete it, or edit it if I want to modify it at all. But we'll go over here, we're going to create a brand new one. So I'm going to say New Form, and we'll give it a name. The aptly named Tech Tuesday Custom Form. If I could type today, there we go. In this case, we definitely want to allow this to be used on web pages because we're building this out for use on agent websites. So we're going to say it can be used on the agent sites. Another thing about this system is each one of these features and functions are pretty well commented. So we describe pretty well what everything does in here. But I'm going to go ahead and go through each piece. So the next one we have here is whether or not we wanted to create a lead. So it could just be an email form where you put in your information and it sends an email with the form's contents out to whoever we set to be the recipient of that. But in this case, we want to actually create a lead for it. So what that means is it's going to create a customer account in the DeltaNet for the person who actually fills out the form. Next, since we chose to create a lead, we get to have a little functionality related to the assignment on this one. In this case, we want this to be used on the agent side anyway, so we're just going to leave this on default, and what that means is that it's going to look at the company's lead settings to figure out how to route this lead. So if an agent uses this on their own website, and the assignment is set to default like this, then generally the lead settings will be set up in such a way that that lead goes to the agent's website. So that is how we set those up by default, and that is how the vast majority of companies choose to leave that setting. But if I were setting this up as an admin and I wanted to use this on the company site somewhere, build some custom pages for it, I could actually set this to assign the lead to a specific user. So I could just use that drop down, select any specific user in the system, and then when a customer fills out this form, that lead account will be created and that account will be assigned to whoever I have selected here. Now the next thing we can do is, if in addition to that person we want some other people notified when this form gets filled out, I can put some email addresses in here and separate those by commas, and then all of those people will get notified when the form is filled out. Next, we can put a little introduction text on our form. There we are. So now we have a little introduction text. And also using this section, it is the full WYSIWYG editor. So if I wanted to put some formatting in here, picture some links, I have the option of doing that stuff. And then next, we can put a thank you message on this. So basically, this is the message that the user will receive after they fill the form out. Or if I just want whoever fills the form out to be redirected off to another page, I could click this redirect URL and then put in a page URL here. And then instead of seeing the thank you message, they'll be redirected out to the page. There we go. So now we'll scroll down here a bit more, and now we get to the actual form designer itself. So if you're familiar at all with the Creative Studio HTML designer, so this would be the portion of Creative Studio that you use to actually design the HTML-based eCards, this is basically the same editor. The only difference is we have some presets over here that make it more conducive to building out a form. So you can see this is our standard editor here, so I'm just going to drag in, this is going to be a lead form, so we'll start with that one. I'll drag that into my design. There you go. So you can see this is our standard lead form, but now I can go in and start modifying this in whatever way I want to make this make sense to me. So say I don't care about any of these, so we'll remove some of these fields here. There we go. Now let's say I wanted to drop in an input field, so I can just grab that over here. We'll get it lined up in our design. There we go. There we go. And now we'll call this one address. So now we have a place where the customer can fill their address in. I'll go ahead and add another one. Here, we'll make this one city. But you get the idea here. So I can go ahead and add out as many import or input fields as I want here. I can even click on this and then go over here to my settings for that, and I can make that component required. So now that becomes a required field. They'll have to fill that out in order to submit the form. And then to indicate that it's required, it would be a good idea for me to put the little asterisk there at the end of that field. But you get the idea. That is how you can go ahead and build that out. And there's plenty of extra form elements here. So I can also go over here and let's say I want to have a a select box in here also. So we'll go ahead and drag that into our design. There we are. And then we can label that just like any of the other fields, however we'd like. Some options. We're going to make a very useful form here. You can tell already. Here we go. Now we'll edit the options for our select box. These are the options so far, so we'll make some interesting stuff. Second option. First option. Third. There we go. We're making progress. So, there we are. That builds that out a little bit. So now we have some select box options in here. But you get the idea. So you can use this to just, continually add out whatever fields you want. You do have options for, color and custom formatting and things too. So, I can click on this box overall, and I'll click on my little brush here, my paintbrush. And we'll add some decorations. Here's our background color. There we go. So let's make that a nice festive green. I like that. Yeah, let's give it a border color too. We're going all out. We're making it Christmas colors. There we go. So here's my festive Christmas form. It's very, very pretty. There we go. Yeah, so we're not doing too bad. So I won't get too in depth on all of the additional features and functionality that you can use as part of this editor. Really, the sky's the limit as far as your creativity and functionality with the form goes. So you can really build this out to look however you want and have whatever fields you need. Now, one thing I'll add is that the system knows to put first name, last name, and email into the correct fields for that customer. Many of the additional fields that you add here that the customer can input information into or make a selection in, when the lead is created, the contents of those fields will actually show up in the lead comments, because we don't necessarily have fields attached to the customer for those things can go into, but you will be able to see everything they entered by looking at the comments on that lead. So once we have our form built out, I'm going to go down here and save my form. You can see my changes have been saved. So now I'm going to go into my agent account. Now as an admin, I can go in here and authenticate as an agent account. However, if you're an agent, you would just log in and you would find yourself here on your home welcome page. And if you wanted to use one of these company created forms, to do so, you would go into your page editor and then insert that form into the page. So we'll go ahead and create a custom page to do this. I mean, generally, you won't be using these forms on your home page, so you won't add them to your paragraph about you. Instead, you'll be creating a custom landing page that's going to utilize that form, to some end. So to use that, I'm going to go down here, go to Website, and down to Pages. Now, we do have some tutorials specific to the Pages system that kind of go through these in detail, but I'm just going to cover the pieces, or at least this time around, I'm just going to cover the pieces related to adding that form in. So we'll go down here and click on New Page. There we are. Now we're going to go with a custom page because we're going to make this content specific. And instead of using these form options up here where I could just put a generic contact form in, we're going to use our fancy custom form. So I'm going to say my custom form page. And now to add the form, I'm going to click on our short code drop down right here. And we're going to select form. And now you can see I can select from those created company forms which one I want. So this is the Tech Tuesday custom forms, the one we just built. I can control how that aligns on the page, so we'll stick with left aligned. The response email, it's going to set as my agent email address automatically, just whatever my public email address is. So you can modify that if you'd like. But keep in mind that this is going to create a lead. So that lead's going to get assigned to me and I'm going to get a notification from that anyway. So in the case of a form that does create a lead, this piece is less important there. Now the next thing we have here is if the form creates a lead, we do have the option of dropping that lead into a specific group. Now that is something that can be really cool with this. This allows you to create a custom landing page that maybe you attach some marketing to, and then everyone that fills out that form gets dropped into a specific customer group that is related to that marketing. And then to extend that one further, you could have that customer group in a campaign so that whenever a new customer fills out that form, they're automatically added to the group. And since the group is in that email campaign or action plan, the system automatically starts sending them email related to the request that they made. So, if they came to your website because they were interested in selling their home, they can get a campaign or start getting emails from an email campaign sending them messages that are specific to that thing that they came to your website for. So it allows you to really engage with your customers in a way that really speaks to them based on what they were looking for. So that is particularly neat for these. You can add these into a group automatically. Now the next piece is we can choose whether we want to show the about message and the confirmation message that were set up. So we put those in, that introduction text and thank you text on the company side. So we can include those pieces if we'd like, and then hit insert form, and that puts in the short code for my form. So now we'll go down here, TT custom form, TT's for Tech Tuesday. So there's our Tech Tuesday custom form, and we gave our page a title so I can recognize it more easily, and then just going to click on submit. Now, like I said, all those additional page options we go over in detail in the video that is dedicated to going over the page system. So now we're just looking at the form stuff. So there you go. That page is saved. So now if we click on it here, it opens up in a new tab. And there's my custom form. So you can see this is the text that I added myself. This is the introduction text that is attached to this custom form on the company side. We added that when we built the form. And then the thank you text we would see if we filled the form out. But now we just have this form on the site. I can fill this out like any other. It includes the CAPTCHA on there, which is nice. It strips out some of the potential spam leads there. But I would fill it out, click contact, and that would create the lead, notify me of it, and it would present the customer with either the thank you message that was set up on the company side or redirect them based on whatever selections were made when the form was built. So there you have it. That is how to build a custom form on the admin side. So if you are an admin, that is how you can build out one of these custom forms and make it available to all your agents. And then as an agent, this is how you would go in and utilize any of those custom forms created on the company side. So, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to us at support@deltagroup.com or give us a call and we can walk you through this functionality or whatever else you need. And have a fantastic rest of your day and rest of your week, and I will see you again next week. Thanks a lot.